Hey, what's up, everybody? Part 1, Sump build, 40-gallon breeder, new flower horn, RJ. All right, you guys are probably going to be mad because I did some work on the Overflow yesterday using the PVC, but it doesn't work. But it does work. It doesn't work good enough. So you guys have probably seen this on a lot of YouTube videos. If you haven't, it's a pretty cool DIY Overflow system here. I also had two different size pipes to go inside. I had a 1/2 and 3/4. This is all 1 inch inside diameter. So this actually did work. You would hang this over your tank and the water would flow in here, and you put that in there and it would go up your tube down there and pour out. I made two different size ones to fit inside there. Neither one of them worked very well. My submersible pump here actually pumped water too much. This couldn't keep up with it. I had this sitting in a cooler, and the water that was draining out went into a metal tin where the pump was. And I would have the pump with a hose on it pumping water back into the cooler, so it would be a continuous cycle. Well, this would pump the water out of the little tin way faster than this could put water back into it. So what that tells me is this is not going to be able to handle the GPH that this is putting out. So, and yeah, I'm drinking Coors Light, don't judge me. So this is crap. Can't use it. So what I am going to be doing, I have a whole bunch of leftover scrap pieces of 1/8 inch thick acrylic. I'm actually going to be fabricating my own overflow box out of acrylic. However, what I'm going to be doing, since this is one of the pipes that was part of the overflow, instead of this is now going to be the pipe. I got two 90s here that are going to go like this, and then the pipe's going to come down. This is going to be the pipe that hangs over your overflow box in your tank, front and back. This is going to hold so much more water. So I'm basically going to be copying the design of the eShop's overflow box that I got a while back. I'm going to be trying to copy that the best I can. And I got some Krylon Fusion, which is aquarium safe. Probably going to use that, paint everything black. I'm not completely sure about that yet. Got me some PVC glue, silicone for the tank. I also have this picked up a couple of these little couplers. The back of the overflow, this is going to go up through the acrylic overflow box. This will screw on top of it. I'm probably just going to glue this, and then I can have a tiny little bit of PVC come out there, and then it's going to go into my coupler. The coupler is actually going to be way up here, but what's that's going to allow me to do is to unscrew the overflow box from the entire pipe that goes to the sump. A little complicated right now, but this is a lot of work, but it is so much cheaper, but that's the whole fun, is customizing all this and making it to your own specs. So the really crappy thing about this is I have no clue. I cannot test this at all whatsoever till it's 100% done, and this is going to take me a few days to do this, and all that work could be for nothing. We're going to fab a whole acrylic overflow box. Stay tuned. So I'm using 1/8 inch thick acrylic, and you guys might be thinking, oh, that's too thin. When this becomes a box, it's actually going to be very strong. If you've never done this before, 1/8 inch, the best way is to score it and break it. You might be able to get away with using some type of saw, but you risk cracking it. So I've already made a couple measurements here. I use an aluminum straight edge. You actually want to use something just like a ballpoint pen to draw on the acrylic. If you use like a permanent marker, your line's going to be way too thick. You want the line to be almost as thin as the razor blade. So what you do, just measure, draw out with your ballpoint pen, and use your straight edge to start scoring real lightly. Once you get a fair enough groove, you can feel it, and then you're just going to take your razor blade and apply a fair amount of pressure. You actually don't want to break the tip of the blade off either, which happens a lot. This is really time consuming, but it ensures that you get a nice clean cut. I've probably already scored this about 15 times, and I'm just going to keep going over it and over it until I feel comfortable before I break it. You really have to have patience doing this. The more scores, the more cuts that you make, the easier it's gonna break, and you're gonna get a nice clean cut. All right, we're gonna snap the second piece. I just scored this a whole lot of times. We're gonna use my level. Boom. Nice and clean. Okay, you can see all the scores that I have. I'm gonna try to snap all these at one time. Well, not at one time, one after another, and we'll see if I didn't mess up here. We'll use our level again, which I should have did the first time. Oh, nice break. That one works. Another nice one. Boom. All four. All right, I tried to film me making these smaller ones, but apparently my camera wasn't on, but I did these the exact same way as the 5-inch ones. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna have two 5x5s here, and these are going to be the sides. This is kind of hard to do. One there, one here, and this is going to be one of the boxes. And then now all I have to do is make two bottoms for these, and then we can start fabbing these a little bit. Yeah. All right, I got my two bottom pieces cut out. Got some debris on there. You know, just so you guys know, if you get scratches on this, you know, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Just depends on how anal you are and how nice you want these to look. We're far from done on these. We need to drill some holes in certain spots. We need to glue them. When I'm done, I'm gonna sand the edges over, and then actually you should use a torch to melt the edges and make them smooth and clear. I've only done that once before, and I'm gonna do it again. For now, what we're gonna try to do is clean off all the ballpoint pen marks off of this with alcohol. See if this works. Yep, that works really good. All right, everybody, I drilled the holes in the front of the overflow. This is where the water is going to come in. Hopefully these circles will work. I've got two, so this will be the front overflow. It should be more than enough to let water in and skim the surface. I don't have a means of cutting the slits in. Those work better. But this should work. This should be okay. But that came out real nice. So one other thing I do need to do is, so this is going to be the bottom of the overflow in the back, and I've got to drill a hole to fit this. What's going to happen, this needs to come up through here, and then this is going to screw, this has to go through like that. And this is going to tighten, and it's going to be like that. I also need to cut off about half of this. I don't need all this. I'm going to cut off about half with my miter saw. And then I got to figure out a way to drill a big old fat hole in here so this can slip through. And I think I'm just going to draw a circle with this on here like as a template, go around, and then drill a whole bunch of little holes around and kind of I think I got a little ball sander thing I can put on my drill press, a cylinder sander, and kind of even out the circle and get this to fit. And then once this is through the acrylic, this part right here is going to be glued on, so it'll be it won't leak. And then once this is here, then I can attach all my other PVC piping to go down to the sump. So all right, everybody, I got the hole drilled out for the bottom of the overflow box that's going to be in the back outside the aquarium. So now these fit. So what's going to happen, this goes right through there. I also cut off about a 1/2 inch, stupid lighting, there we go. Cut off about a 1/2 inch. So this is gonna screw, I'm actually gonna cement these two pieces together of the PVC pipe. Sorry for the glare, too much light in here. And then I'm gonna use PVC glue to glue these together, and then this is gonna glue and sit flat right there. So this is where the water, I gotta make a divider right here. And this is where the water is going to go down to the tank. Hey guys, okay, did some gluing on the overflow box. Here is the front part all done. Looking pretty snazzy. As you can see, it looked all nice until I glued it together. I got to use this acrylic glue 16. It's gooey. And you got to use the gooey stuff when you don't have completely flat surfaces. When you score and break acrylic, since this is only 1/8 of an inch thick, you don't have a lot of surface area. You can't use the runny acrylic cement. You got to use goo so it makes sure it's watertight. So, I mean, if you can put up with a little bit of crappy glue, it still looks pretty cool. I just got to sand this. You can kind of see the edge is a little off. I'm going to sand it a little bit. I'm actually going to take a torch and go over the edges to kind of melt them. It might clear them up and they'll be rounded. And then here is the back. Got some PVC glue on all over. But yeah, that's where the water is going to go into the box and then it's going to flow out. So hopefully that will seal. So then I got to make the rest of the box and then it'll sit on top of that. I also got to make a divider. I hope that glue didn't screw anything up there because the divider's got to go right there in the middle. Hey, what's up everybody? All right, I'm done with the front box. I had to run a bead. You can see now the glue doesn't look so good once it's all glued because it's the gooey stuff, but it ensures that it doesn't leak. But here's the front box. The rear one is still being glued. Here is the major part that I haven't even talked about. This is what needs to hang over the tank and attach these two together. Now, this is my second attempt and I took this big piece. I actually used my propane torch to melt this into a curve. I laid this on 2 levels. That was exactly 1 inch. I need 1 inch to hang over the tank. And I kind of melted it a little bit too much. Got some bubbles on there, but still, it's exactly what I need. But as you can see, it's too big. I purposely made it bigger so I can grind off what I need. So I'm going to cut off probably about 2 inches of this. I'm just going to grind it down with my 1x30 and polish it up. And this is going to be glued to the front and the back to hold them together. Okay, so I spent about the last 5-10 minutes chopping this down. I sanded off probably a good 2 inches with my 1x30. Still got some of them bubbles on it, but this is, you know. And then I took my propane torch, went around the edges, smooth them off real nice, and this is what is going to glue on to the baskets. Once the back one is done, I will show you that, and then we'll glue these together, and hopefully I can test it out tonight. Not too bad for making it home, huh? It's just gonna look like it's permanently wet. That's all. Hey, what's going on everybody? All right, so the overflow is done. This is basically a copy of eShop's overflow, just like the 300 I had. And here's the PVC, it's gonna sit right in there. Not the prettiest once it's all glued together, but this should work. And if it doesn't, I'm gonna be freaking pissed, because this was a lot of work. So all I gotta do is run some PVC down here to the sump. I think it's about 8 o'clock. I've been doing this all day. I'm tired and I'm done. So this will be part one. I still gotta glue this PVC together. The only thing I don't like about this PVC is you can't see inside of it if there's air bubbles, but the best way to just prime this whole thing is to stick them both underwater. You go up like this, you turn upside down, and this is fully primed. And there shouldn't be any air bubbles in it. I wonder if I should have made that shorter. That should be okay though. But this is it. This should work. All right, stay tuned for part two, when I'm gonna throw this on the tank and I'm just gonna run some PVC to a cooler, put the pumps in the cooler and pump it back to the tank, and just make sure that this can handle the overflow back to the sump. Before I even start making the sump, I need to make sure that this works correctly.